Hi, this is Tedros Mengistu from Teddy Press. Our program today will focus on thousands of Tigray refugees fleeing the violence in Tigray, South refugee across the border in Sudan. My guest today is Dr. Mohammed Idris. He is an Eritrean and CEO with the organization called the American Relief Agency for the Horn Africa, ARAHA. ARAHA is providing direct assistance in several countries in that region of the world. Mr. Mohammed, thank you for coming to Teddy Press program and for the vital information that you are going to provide us about the Tigray refugees who are in a difficult situation as we speak in Sudan.
Yeah, thank you, Tedros, for having me and for hosting this talk about the humanitarian crisis in the border between Sudan and Ethiopia. And I'm glad to be in your show.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I believe many Eritreans know little about you and your organization. Please tell us a brief background information about yourself and your organization, ARAHA, how, when it started, and what kind of, what is your aim of what is the aim of ARAHA?
Yeah. Thank you, Tedros. ARAHA, which stands for the American Relief Agency for the Horn of Africa, was founded 20 years ago in Minnesota by Americans who are originally from the Horn of Africa. So Eritrean Americans, Somali Americans, Ethiopian Americans, Kenyan Americans. We came together, and I'm a co-founder, and we said, we are blessed to be in the U.S., but we know where we came from. So we felt the moral obligation that we need to do something for our people back home. And we thought ARAHA could be, establishing a humanitarian organization could be a way that we can contribute to help our people back home. And since then, we start doing humanitarian project like water wells, digging water wells, distributing food during crisis, building schools, providing scholarship, a different program, sending medical convoy to refugee camps, taking advantage of the solar energy that we have in the region, doing sand dam, different type of projects. And we are happy with what have been accomplished so far, but we know also it is in regard when you compare it to the demand and the huge problems that we have in the region, especially in the humanitarian aspect. We feel it is a drop in the ocean sometimes. But so far, we dug over 500 water wells across the region of the Horn of Africa. And we did a lot of food basket distribution, a lot of school lunch program that we have in many schools. We built many schools there. And the area we work in, just to give your audience also where we work in the Horn of Africa, we have field offices in ground in Sudan, in Ethiopia, in Kenya, and in Somalia. So those are the 4 countries that we focus on. So this is just, I think, a brief information. I think what makes us unique maybe than other organizations, we are an American organization, but well-connected or led by East African American generation, you can say, so we understand the culture, we speak the language, and we are well connected to the area we serve.
So you are original from Eritrea. Tell me a little bit about you.
Yes. I was born in Agordat, and I experienced the life of refugees and being displaced. And I understand also these days, for example, what happened in the Tigray region when people civilians and innocent people have to flee because of the war. I experienced that in an early age. And that could be also one of the maybe passion that led me to this organization, to be part of this organization. But I came to the US long time ago, over 20 years now, and established my life here. And I was blessed to have to work with an organization like ARAHA, and to be able to help our people back home.
Yeah, thank you so much. I would like to use this chance to ask you about the Eritrean refugees in Sudan. Do we know, or do your agency know, how many Eritrean refugees in Sudan, and what's their situation look like there?
Eritrean refugees in Sudan, really the history of their migration and crossing the border go back to 1960, 67. And when maybe if you remember, there were some when the Ethiopian army wiped out some villages in Gash Barka area, like Ona and Ad Ibrahim and things like that. So the first wave of refugees from Eritrea to Sudan actually go back to the 60s. And since then, the waves of refugees continued for different reasons, some for war, and some for also drought, and some also for, especially the recent one, is more of because of the unlimited military service and religious persecution, and also the wide range of human rights violation, unfortunately, in Eritrea. This is according to the UNHCR reports, and what we know as Eritreans as facts. So the number of Eritreans, there are registered numbers and there are non-registered, or you can say officials and non-officials. So the officials is about 120,000 right now in Sudan. But the unofficial that is not registered, it's range from 500,000 to 1 million. So it is a large number.
You know that according to the UNHCR, there are also more than 96,000 Eritrean refugees sheltered in 4 refugee camps in western part of Tigray region. You know, Shimeliba, Ma'ani, and Ad-Harush and Hizatz, and who have been cut off from food and relief supplies, and at high risk of hunger and malnutrition at this time. And blocked roads and limited communications make it difficult to verify current conditions in the camps right now. What can you tell us about the Eritrean refugees in Tigray right now?
You know, since the war started, the communication have been cut off from the whole region of Tigray. So really there are little information there, and it cannot be confirmed yet. But there are some disturbing news coming from the Eritrean refugee camps, and I hope it is not true, but it is very disturbing where there are some news that some Eritrean troops controlling some of these refugee camps, like Shemelba. This is one of the news that came, and destroying UNHCR records in the camp, and seizing medicines there, and taking a few thousands out of the camp. I cannot confirm this news, but it is very disturbing because those refugees fled Eritrea, and by all the convention of the UN, they should have full protection. And it is the worst nightmare for a refugee to find the forces that he or she escaped controlling their refugee camp in the neighboring country. But so I hope that these news are not true, and hopefully, by the time we will know. But there was actually an appeal from the UNHCR Commissioner of Refugees, making an appeal for Ethiopia to open up and to check on the status of those refugees, because they rely on UNHCR help, and we don't know anything what happened to them. And we are talking about almost like 96,000 Eritrean refugees in Tigray region in 4 camps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I myself interviewed some of the refugee camps who escaped from Hitsats refugee camp. They have witnessed to me that there was a lot of harassment and mishandling and beating up, and a lot of it is very harsh situation that they are in right now. Let's go back to the Tigray crisis right now. Since the early November, it started at the same day the American presidential election. A full-scale humanitarian crisis has been unfolding in Ethiopia's Tigray region. And then according to the UNHCR, more than 45,000 people have sought refuge in neighboring Sudan, and another 100,000 have been displaced from their home, but remain inside in the country. The vast majority are undertaking dangerous journey to reach to Sudan. Tell us what are your staff are telling you about the Tigrayan refugee situation right now?
Yes, it is really a humanitarian crisis that is unfolding in the border with Sudan, and this has happened, at the beginning of November, and still unfortunately continued, where over 45,000 crossed the border to Sudan. And once it happened, in the early few days, we sent our team in ground to check the situation there. And really, they reported a very bad situation, because those thousands of people coming in this small town called Hamdayet. This is the border town between Ethiopia and Sudan, and even the town cannot handle such number of refugees, and without anything, without food, without water. Some of them escaped, and even some of them, they don't know their family members. One of our staff was talking to me, and he was saying, while we are with the officials of the CORE, which is the Commission of Refugees in Sudan, the entity that represents refugees on behalf of the Sudanese government and the UNHCR, while we are with them, we will see people coming and asking, for the name of their wives or their, husbands or their kids, if they are among those who have been registered. Some of them coming with just their own clothes. They don't have anything. So it was sad. It was really sad, and it's very hot during the day, and there is no shade for them. And at night it is cold at this time of the year, and those people don't have anything. So CORE and UNHCR they were trying their best to catch up with the flow of refugees, and the way they are doing it is that to register them and then to try to take them to another camp called Kuba, which is more safe and maybe more inside and more organized, where they can get tents and they can get some kind of shelters and other services. But in Hamdayet, it's still, thousands of people are still there, and still people are coming. And although I think recently, right now, it was blocked, but still there are thousands of people there. And our organization, what we decided to do is to establish a feeding center. Usually we give food baskets, but those people do not have anything even to cook with. So we establish a feeding center where we provide hot meals to the refugees, and maybe I can show you some of the picture just to look at how the situation look like.
Yes, please do it. Yeah, that was actually my next question. Yeah, what your agency is helping these refugees, and please show us so our audience see what you are.
So is
doing down there?
Do you see the?
Yes, I can see the pictures. What is it? I see that there is.
This is the feeding center where our people are preparing the food so that they can distribute it to the people, and they just go to them, and maybe some of them under a tree, or some of them under something that has a little bit of shade. I mean, it is still, it's a little bit chaos, but we are trying at least to save lives and to try to help people.
This is in Hamdayet?
This is in Hamdayet, yes. So this is like during the distribution right now, just trying to have them in a row, and we are cooperating with UNHCR and the local organization there. So our people also bringing it in a small trucks, going around just to see where the refugees, and bringing them the food.
Do you provide them culturally appropriate meal, or do you provide them any kind of food that you find? I mean, there are a little bit culturally difference between the,
Yes. And again, we may not be providing the best, because this is a quickly set up, but it's still, this is something actually they like it. Rice with lentils, and we change it from a day to another day. We also provided to those who move them from the border town to the refugee camp. They take them in buses, so we provide them with face masks, and also we provide them with a food that they can take with them, at least during the journey, because it takes maybe a whole day just to travel there, so that they are not hungry when they are there.
Where are they going now, do you think?
I'm sorry?
Where are they taking them?
This is taking them to, there is one camp right now they set up for them, and it's called Umrah Kuba. Few hours far from, it's still within the Eastern Sudan, and it's still close to the border, but a little bit far from the border. Let me just show you maybe like this few video clip. You can also see the food.
Yeah, it just took me to Shimelba camp. You were a refugee by yourself, and I was also a refugee in Tigray, in Shimelba. So it's we have a personal attachment with this kind of situation.
Yes, and this is the border town. This is the place where this is the reception center. And these are from the early days, where people were, just coming, and some of them are trying to make a shade of anything.
Wow.
You can see, and just look at even some of the trying to make a shade out of anything. Makeshift houses, small, and people sometimes go to the politics, but I always say, out of war, these are the type of people who really innocent people, children, women, elders. Those are the most really get affected by this. They get surprised. They are not consulted about the war, and then they become the victim of this. So this is just the early situation of. So I just wanted to give you like a little bit of pictures to put you and your audience about the situation of the humanitarian situation in the border town.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Mohammed. What do you feel when you see these kind of pictures?
You know, for me, being at one point at my life as a refugee and seeing this, what make me mad the most is that this is getting repeated again and again. And I hope our politicians, our people, our leaders really learn from history. And sometimes I feel that we are repeating the same mistake again and again. We need to know how to coexist. We need to know how to live with each other. We need to turn our diversity from from being a curse to a blessing, to enrich ourselves. And me and you, we live in the U.S. and it's a great country to live in, and we can see all type of diversity of faith, of color, of background and ethnicities, and still people are living together. So I hope that mentality of coexistence and sharing, I hope that our leader also gets some of that.
It's very important to remember that. Based your experience and how and what do you think their future will be from now on?
The future of those refugees? You know, these days, those refugees, some of those refugees actually resistant to go to the camp. And if I
why is that? Why is that? What have you heard? What is the reason that they're refusing to go to the permanent refugee camp?
I think some of them want to go back to their homes. I think some of them want to go back to their homes if it is safe for them to do that. And I hope the Ethiopian government hopefully will work to bring those back as soon as possible. Because the reality, Tedros, is, and I have been working in this humanitarian sector for the last 20 years. One of the sad facts are that when those refugees cross the border to another country, their lives will change forever. And you know, sometimes these refugee camps are meant to rescue people, but over the time they become traps where people cannot leave. They cannot live a normal life. They cannot rely on themselves. They rely on others. And if this is for 6 months or a year, it's understandable. But when you have refugee camps from the 1967, when you have refugees, the Palestinian from the 1948, the Somalis who are considered maybe most recent from 1991, we have almost 500,000 people in the Dadaab camp in Kenya from the 1991 is still there. So many generations living there, and trapped. So always we try to advocate for early intervention and before things happen. But if we couldn't, also if those people can go back home, because they are not rooted out. They are not rooted out yet. This is hopefully can be temporary. If they can go back, they have homes, maybe they have cattle, maybe they have farms. They can go back and they can start their life. But once they are moved and become permanent in these refugee camps, now they are permanently reliant on foreign aid, and we don't want that for our people.
Have you heard any good or bad stories from these refugees?
Some of those refugees that have crossed the border, they talk about horrific things that they saw. And that's, of course, a trauma that will affect those people for a long time. So in addition to their, they have to flee the war, and leave everything, they have also to handle this trauma and this psychological trauma for a long time. And of course, we don't know so far what exactly happened, because still the communication is not clear. But some of those people talk about some horrific things that happen, you know, and we don't know. Maybe we will know over time. But these are one of the things that refugees experience when they flee a war zone.
Okay. You told me that you are providing assistance in Hamdayet. Do you have any other places that you are providing help, meals, and other things in Sudan right now for these refugees?
We in Sudan, we have program. We have for the Eritrean refugees. We have in Shagarab camps. We have we run 2 schools there, high schools, and we provide, you know, from time to time food, and we dig water well in some other refugee camps, and we have different programs that we do, and not only in Sudan but also in Ethiopia. We work, and actually we were about to implement a project in Tigray region for the refugee camps before the war, and then the war stopped the situation. So hopefully things will go back to normal, and so that we can continue our operations and helping the people there. We don't only help refugees, but also we help local people, whether in Ethiopia, whether in Sudan, whether in Kenya. You know, we help both refugees and also local people who live in poverty and rural areas.
Who are your sponsors?
We are public supported organization. So most of the people are individual donors across the US. We have active online campaign, Facebook, social media, and we also, one of the things we try to do at ARAHA to be the platform for East African communities to help back home. A lot of people in America and Europe, they would like to help, but they don't know how. So we established this organization so that we can be the vehicle and the platform. And actually, one of the things we provide, and I hope your audience take note of that. We do like the crowdfunding, that GoFundMe and these fundraising tools. We have it actually in our website. We call it Lifesaver campaign. So if you would like to help those refugees right now, and you have maybe a community in Texas or in somewhere, and you want to gather and you want to help, we can establish a page for you, and you can do the fundraising. And we as an organization, we will take all the way of doing this and implementing it, and actually with the recognition to those communities who did this. And so we love to be a platform so that we can provide these assistance to people of need in the region.
Do you have any information that you can share? We as Eritreans, Tigrayans, Ethiopians, Sudanese, or whoever listens to this program to help your organization for these refugees?
Yes, I can share an organization. Of course, the best thing is to go to our website, which is ARAHA. That is ARAHA.org. I think with that you can, and I want to share with you some of the. I want to share with you some of the contact information that people can go to and see. But ARAHA.org is the best resources. And actually, right now, am I sharing, or you don't see it right now?
Yes, go ahead, please. I don't see right now, but please share if you have any.
So I will share with you. And this is one of the campaign that I was talking to you, that this is a lifesaver campaign. So when you go there, you can see, how you can help, and you can just go and support the campaign, and automatically you will see it here. So this is the campaign, and this is the some of the video that I showed you before. But people can go just to araha.org, and I think that will get all the information, and you can go to our contact page, and also to email us. And if you want to start a lifesaver campaign, you can do that. So that is one of the area that would love that people just go to our website and try to donate there.
Yeah, Dr. Mohammed Idris, thank you. I really appreciate you for all this vital information that you provided us, and for everything that you are doing for our people down there. Is there anything that you would like to say? I'll give you the last chance to conclude this short interview.
Yeah, thank you, Tedros. First of all, I'm really honored to be in your show. And what I want to say, if I have a word to say, our area, whether it is, Eritrea or Ethiopia or Sudan, the Horn of Africa, it's not an area where there's a lot of interest for the world. And these crises that we are talking about does not usually come in CNN and BBC and Al Jazeera. So we, as the people from the region, we really have a moral obligation to help and to mobilize and to raise awareness. And I expect your audience among those who have that feeling, and I look forward to see and to be able to help our people back home.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. I hope people will see this program and do their part in order to help our people. We really appreciate you for this interview.
Thank you, Tedros. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.